I'd like to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. Thanksgiving week. Hope y'all are going to have a blessed week and be able to take time with your families and enjoy your loved ones and be thankful for all the blessings in our lives. This morning we've got a guest with us. I want to introduce Darryl McGahey with the Lake Cumberland Area Development District. He's with us, and I've asked him if he'd be so kind as to open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance. So Darryl, if you would, please, appreciate all that you do for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. And we've got one issue that we've noticed on item 5. It's motion made by Master Trunk and seconded by Master Trunk. We need to change that. Was that, Mark, did you make that second?
Do I need to make a motion, or?
Well, we just need to.
I think Mike made the motion and
I don't know
Strunk
who
seconded.
made the second.
Okay, Mike Wilson made the motion. Mike Strunk made the second.
What number was that, Judge?
Item 5.
Motion to accept with changes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda then is our old business, and we have bid openings for our SCBA units. We've got a few of those, correct?
Looks like there's 3,
These two go together.
2.
Right.
This one's from Bluegrass Fire Equipment Company. Looks like $288,120. And then there's a second price on here for another $3,031. Looks like some optional equipment.
Did that have a per unit? I don't think it did.
I think we should get Mark a knife for Christmas.
You got a big old
Hmm?
You got a big old map.
Might be ruining his.
This one is from Fire Department Service and Supply. This says total amount for 49 units is I guess it's $328,300. It's 328.300, so we will go with $328,300.
What was the other?
227,752.
So it was at the bottom.
I had 288.
288,120.
And then this one looks like also has some optional equipment pricing as well. I don't know what's in this other. just says optional equipment bid. Each station, $2,500, I guess. Somebody smarter than me will have to figure all this out.
We'll need a,
Make a motion to accept for review.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Any opposed? Won't we, Dan, if you don't mind, would you take these and maybe Stacy, can you go with him? How about Chief Bowles? Could you go back with these guys and look at this? Come back with your recommendation to the court? All right? Yes, sir.
Dan, we thank you for what little bit you do.
I said somebody smarter than me.
Thank you, Mark.
Next then will be our new business. I've got one item that was added this morning. I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way. We would like to address the court. We've got an opportunity. Region 14 Hazmat is looking to relocate from Russell County. Would like to be in Pulaski County, and they've advertised for space in the newspaper, but we would like to get permission from the court to negotiate with them to try to bring them back to Pulaski County.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then next, we have a resolution. You've got a copy of it. Basically, this is for Frank Hansford. You know, he's the department head at our new county maintenance operation, and we would like to get him a credit card, and we need to pass this resolution allowing us to do that. Motion. Motion, from Mr. Williams.
Second.
Second, Mr. Strunk.
Got a question. There are no names on this form as far as who all gets the credit cards. How many people in the county already has a credit card?
Okay, there's no one right now in that department. The only credit card they had was in Tiger's name.
Okay.
And of course, Tiger has been gone.
Okay.
This will be totally separate to come out of that account. And there are times that, because we've gone over this many times, and Frank might want to address it, but there are companies that he has to deal with on parts and so on and so forth that you can't do a PO on, which is our normal system. What he will have to do is get a PO for the credit card. And it will only, I would assume that it would just be Frank. Am I correct?
I think that's what
My
Mark's
biggest
asking.
concern,
He
my
wants
biggest
one
concern
person.
is I'm approving something with no names on it.
Well, the reason why there's no names is because it's signatures, and we wanted to go through the approval process first, but we can, I think that Steve, that we can,
So this is only to give Frank a credit card?
correct.
Okay, no one else?
No one else, no.
So just as long as it's in the minutes that.
That it will, yes, please address that in the minutes, Miss Alicia.
And then as far as credit card bills are concerned, is on the bill list, does that show the expenses on the credit cards? When we.
I don't
look at-
know
when
that.
we- When I review the bill list.
Yes,
Does that show any expenses that are put on the credit cards?
It shows when they pay the credit card bill.
No.
Credit cards are done with utilities because it's a recurring expense.
Okay.
We can give you that information.
Can we get a copy of the credit card expenses?
I
when you
mean,
send out the
yeah, I
bill
can
list?
give it to you anytime you want to come.
Or just include it with the bill list when you mail it out to us?
Okay,
Okay. That way we have time to review it.
okay. Well, it goes, the thing is the credit card is paid with utilities because it's like any other thing, but credit cards are so touchy And because if you don't get them in,
I didn't say we had to approve them, it's just something. for
okay,
us
I'm
to review.
following you now. I'm a little slow on the uptake
Just
today.
something for the magistrates to review,
Got it.
so,
We can do that.
okay,
You might have to,
remind you.
yes, because, like I said, I'm a little slow on the uptake.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item then, we've got a busy month coming up in December, and we need to look at changing our regularly scheduled court dates. We have a regularly scheduled meeting on the 10th. We would like to move that to the 12th. at 10
Judge, can we move that to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 10 o'clock? Is that all right with everybody?
Fine with me.
Hey, that works, maybe some more citizens would want to join us.
So we're going to change that then to the 12th
I won't be back in town until about 12 that day.
at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
If that's okay with everybody. If not, I can work it to where I can get me back.
Darn it, I gotta change my eye appointment.
So is that,
2 o'clock.
anybody have a motion to do that?
Motion.
Have a motion and a second to change that to the 12th at 2 o'clock and cancel the meeting on the 10th.
So that'll be a special meeting, so.
Special call meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then part 2 of that
Oh, wait, I
is-
want to add something to that also. That means that there will, oh, never mind, you're getting to that, sorry, forget it.
Part 2 of that is, our second regularly scheduled meeting is on December 24th, Christmas Eve. And we typically are closed that day, so we would like to just cancel that meeting, and we'll try to get all of our business done on the 12th.
That means there will only be one bill list. I kind of jumped the gun a little, sorry.
I motion to close, did not have a meeting on the 24th.
Motion, do we have a second? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries, thank you. All right, and then we'll move on to our department reports. We've got Road Department, Eugene.
All I have today is a road work request and 3,000 ton of rock for the month of December.
We'll need a motion then to approve our road work request.
Motion.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Wilson, second, Mr. Renshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then we need a motion then to purchase 3,000 ton of rock.
Motion. Second.
Motion, Mr. Wilson, second, Mr. Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Judge, do we need any more hot mix? Dan said something about hot mix too. Do you?
I think we've probably got enough to do us. I think the quarries, or the
Okay, we've got
blacktop
some
plant's
left from
gonna
last
close
time.
next week.
Okay, yes.
So we should, I think, got enough to do us till then.
That'll work then.
Okay.
And Joan?
Yes, sir.
Do you have time to get you said you wanted to advertise for that total?
The
patch?
advertisement should be in the paper. It should have either been yesterday or within the next couple of days. It's in there and it's to be,
It was in yesterday's paper,
it was in yesterday. Thank you. I hadn't seen yesterday. You mean Sundays?
Sunday's paper.
Yeah, okay, so that means, if I'm correct, I think I did it on the assumption that we were gonna have the court meeting on the 12th. So, I think bid openings will be on the 12th for the total patcher.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene.
I did something right.
Next then, public safety, Stacy. Oh, he's back. We'll skip him for a minute, I'm sorry. Next then will be our jailer. I think he's got something to present to us today. Anthony?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here to present a memorandum of understanding for a program that we would like to start here in Pulaski County as a joint venture. The program is called Comprehensive Rehabilitation of Inmates, Transforming Individuals, Communities, and Livelihoods. This agreement basically sets out the roles and responsibilities of the people involved. The people involved are going to be the Lake Cumberland Area Development District, who's represented by Mr. Darrell McGahey back here, SPEDA, represented by Chris Girdler, of course the Detention Center, and Somerset Community College, which is represented by Miss Elisa Johnson. I brought them along in case you all had any questions. We would like to start a program of assisting inmates in returning to the workforce through reentry at the detention center. With this partnership, we feel that we have a stronger base to be able to assist the inmates when returning. We'll be able to provide them with education. We're looking at inmates that are anywhere from 90 days to a year out. So we're not looking at anyone that's going to be incarcerated there for a long time. And we're looking for the inmates that, that deserve those second chances. We feel that providing them with this service, it will not only help with the recidivism of inmates returning back to the detention center, but it will also help improve the workforce here in Pulaski County. We plan on providing them the skills and the education along with other services for once they get ready to get out, to get them prepared to reenter into the community. Martin looks like he has a question.
No, I think it's a great program and partnership.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So with your all's approval, we'd like to enter into this agreement and go ahead and get this program up and running and to start getting it developed. I've also given you all kind of a worksheet
Say the good thing, no
in
harm.
the back part of it that kind of outlines what we've already come up with and how we plan on to develop the program.
I just want to mention and thank you and draw awareness that we've seen a trend, not only here in Pulaski County, but statewide, nationwide right now. Rates of jail populations are continuously on the rise, and it's directly, reversely correlated, am I saying that word right? Is the higher the population in jail goes, the lower the workforce participation goes and then the available workforce. So what we're seeing is an opportunity here to capture this market that we know has talents and abilities, and we want to rehabilitate them. That's the primary goal of the jails. It's not to keep them, these particular ones we're dealing with, the goal is not to keep them from interfering with the public. It's to rehabilitate them, to make them productive members of society again. So what this program does, it allows us to reach in and catch them prior to their release, because once they're released, you're too late. You've got to get them and train them before they're released. And so I appreciate you and SPEDA and the college and Darrell, y'all working on this, because what you're seeing is we're taking a proactive approach to solving this problem that exists across the country. And I think we're gonna be on the leading edge, is where we want to be, and we're on the leading edge of solving the problem. So I appreciate your initiative here and appreciate the partnerships, and I think you're doing great things there.
And the best thing about this is this is absolutely no cost to the taxpayers. That's the best part. It's going to cost the taxpayers and the community nothing in order for us to implement this program. So I think it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this memorandum of understanding between all the organizations involved, and I would like to just add to what the judge says. I think it'd be a great thing for this community, so.
We have a motion to second. Turpin, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's back up then. We'll bring Stacy up here with Public Safety.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I just had a couple of things. One of them was to surplus a vehicle for the Ferguson Fire Department. It's a 1981 American LaFrance fire truck they have. They're wanting to surplus it and get rid of it.
81 or 91?
81.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And the other thing I had was to ask the court's permission to ask for bids for the rescue squad for a used dive boat for them.
Motion.
Second.
A motion, Mr. Renshaw, and a second, Mr. Turpin.
That was either a new or used one, right?
A used.
A used.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Present the findings of the
Yeah, the,
bids.
Judge, in reviewing the Scott versus the MSA, some of the departments have Scott existing, and some of the departments have the MSA. Well, if we went with the Scott, they're not compatible with the MSA. So but the Scott is compatible with these. So the committee unanimously recommended that we accept the MSA.
Which one is that? Which one, FD?
FDSA.
FDSAS.
Yeah.
Well, we have a recommendation by bid committee. Do we have a motion to?
I make a motion that we purchase the 44 air packs that the fire commission recommended and voted on for the fire departments.
We've, we've got 49 on the bid.
They was fine with it coming out of the committee unanimously.
No, they wasn't fine with it. They voted for 44 air packs. And that's what the fire commission recommended and voted on.
Was you back there with us, Mark?
No, I was at the fire commission meeting when they voted on it.
Do we have a motion on the floor? Do we have a second? Motion will die from lack of a second. We'll entertain a motion to approve this bid as presented by the bid committee.
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Have any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Split vote. Let's take roll call, please.
Wilson,
Yes.
Turpin,
Yes.
Wilden,
Yes.
Branshaw,
No.
Strunk.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next then will be our solid waste. We've got Misty, I guess, would like to do a cleanup.
I actually have 3 properties for cleanup, 3 trailers. They're actually all 3 right next door to each other. All 3 of these have busted windows. No one's living in them. One of them has the door pried open. And I've sent notices out to property owners. 2 of them didn't sign for the letters, so we're just requesting to tear all 3 down.
Do you have a date when you all start?
I don't. We're going to have to meet with our attorney and probably send out letters to the property owners, and probably try to set up a hearing is what we typically do before we tear down one. Especially, one of them looks like it has been inhabited, the other 2 look like they haven't. But I can present each of them individually, I suppose. I mean, I guess that's what I need to do on these.
And I have a question too. When you do, is this done when, like, I know it says that, just using one, property needs to be mowed and trailer torn down and removed. Okay, that's easy.
Right.
Really. Is that, like, if the trailer is torn down and removed, is that done by your people, or do you contract it out?
Typically, in the past, the road department has torn them down.
Okay.
But then, I think the last couple of years, they've actually contracted that out.
Okay. Do you take
Typically-
bids on your on contracting
I
it
don't
out?
think they do. Danny usually
Or get
does all of
quotes?
that. But I mean, it's usually what we do is when we tear down the trailer, like we take the metal, we scrap it, so that offsets
Sure.
the cost a little bit. And then once we remove them and mow the properties, we place liens on the property, just like
Okay.
we do when we mow them.
Right, but we know how those go.
Yeah.
It might not be a bad idea to take quotes on the removal or the tearing down and the,
I don't, actually, I think.
when it gets to that point.
Well, right, and I think we turn that over to the county, like we approve getting it torn down, and we do all the paperwork on it.
Okay.
And then the county, like through the judge's
Okay.
office,
Well,
the fiscal
whoever
court
takes
approves
care
it
of that,
and-
I'd like to see quotes before, just so we make sure we get the best bang for our buck.
of all days for Danny to not be here for you to ask him
Yeah,
that.
well, that's all right. Sorry, I didn't
Oh,
mean to
that's
put you
okay.
on the
No,
spot.
that's
Miss B.
okay.
I think we can approve these all at once if we'd have a motion to do that.
Okay.
Motion, Mr. Wielden.
Second.
Second, Mr. Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Carries, thank you. Brings us then to our treasurer. Joan, you have a report today?
Yes, the first item, I do have one item that's not on the bill list, or that's not on my agenda. First item I do have would be the bill list.
Motion.
Second.
Second. We have a motion, Mr. Renshaw, second, Mr. Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second item I have, and you don't have a paper for it, this is just something that kind of came up unexpectedly on a transfer. I would like to transfer, and I'll get you some paperwork. I need to transfer $100,000 from general fund to road fund.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's all I have. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.
Right. Then we have with us on our citizens' comments, Ms. Michelle Allen. She is the tourism director for Pulaski County, so welcome aboard.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I've been in this position for about a year now, and I haven't presented to you guys just yet, so this is my first time. Just to let the citizens know and the court know how we are funded, most of you do know, but we are totally funded by 3% transient tax. That means we get no funding from the public here. All of our funding comes from visitors that come to stay in our hotels, in our cabins, and our VRBOs and Airbnbs. With that said, we use that money and turn it around to market our area, not just Somerset and Pulaski County. We also help the communities that are surrounding the lake to market as well. And we also use that money to sponsor some of our events like MMF, Summer Nights Cruise, Mud Mayhem, a variety of things that we like to fund. So I've given you a packet here, and there's going to possibly be some questions for you. But in 2018, Pulaski was able to get $119 million in economic impact. What that means is we got this money from visitors coming to our area in 1 year. I am going to say that next year we'll get even more because of the events that we're having, because of the collaboration between the mayor, the judge, SPEDA, and everybody else, bringing more opportunity to our community. And where that funding comes from and who decides on this funding is the state. They hire somebody that's from out of state, somewhere from New York, that comes in and does surveys. They also calculate our taxes, and this is how they develop these numbers. Now, these numbers to me are probably not exactly accurate because they did not include our marinas, and we are on Lake Cumberland. So, yes, 119 million, I believe, will be a little bit higher. It should be higher when we're talking about our funding and our economic development. Some of the funding also goes to employ folks that are working on our marinas, people that are working at our gas stations, our restaurants, all of those things to bring more opportunity to us folks that live here. We get over 4 million visitors a year to Lake Cumberland, and we want to increase that number every year, and it looks like we're doing that with our economic development numbers. If you will also see toward the back, I've got other counties listed that are on there. We actually we've gone up since 2014. We've never gone down on our numbers in Pulaski County. We've always risen. Some of the other communities have gone down. I'm not sure if that's just because of the new calculations for the numbers, but we are trying to help those communities too, Russell County, Macquarie County, and those types. Any questions?
Good report.
Yeah, it's an awesome report. Thank you. If you guys have questions later, please come and see us. We're the office with the fish.
All right, thank you, Michelle. All right. Couple things, just want to let you all notice that our Christmas tree is up on the square. I want to thank everybody that's been out there working to get that done. I want to thank our community because we're getting ready to decorate that next week with ornaments that have been handmade by community and schools and a lot of the area residents. So we're proud to display those. So we'll be on the lookout for the tree to be decorated. And then we have the 7th will be our annual Christmas parade and tree lighting ceremony. We'd like to invite you to come to that on December 7th. And I want to make a plug for an event at the park. Thanksgiving morning is the pilgrimage in the park. It's a 5K run walk along our beautiful trails. So if you want to wake up early Thanksgiving morning and feel good about yourself and enjoy our beautiful trails, please come out and be a part of that.
What time does the parade start, Judge?
What's that?
What time does the parade start?
Parade is 5 o'clock PM, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what I remember reading.
And we can always use more ornaments for the tree.
So bring them in if you want to. You've got a few days left to get that done. No further business. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Happy Thanksgiving.